It's a chilly 30-degree night here in Bowie's Creek, North Carolina, but boy, are things heating up in the Big South Conference Tournament. Welcome to semifinal Wednesday. The upstart Presbyterian Blue Hose is the 5 seed, look to reach their 3rd straight Big South Conference final, taking on the top dogs 8-0 Campbell during the Big South regular season. Thank you for joining us here on ESPN Plus, alongside my partner Zach Burley, Evan Budrovich with you tonight. Zach, Presbyterian has played the role of spoiler the last 2 years. What must they do to upset the top seed in Campbell?
I think firstly they have to stick to their guns. The way that they play, they back it up, put a lot of men behind the ball. If they can keep it close all the way to the end of the game, they might be able to come up with a set piece and get a big win. Secondly, it's their mentality. Stick to that underdog, and they can do anything.
Campbell led the Big South in scoring. They were 3rd in the country, and it all gets kick-started by the junior forward Thibaut Jaquel. What makes him such an elusive scorer?
I mean, he's fantastic. Everything that he does, he's been able to transition into a new role. He's just a natural, and he really improves the team, I would say, more than he has individually for himself. He does a lot for this offense, and expect him to pick something up tonight.
Thibaut Jaquel, 15 goals on the season, 3rd best in the country this past year. For Presbyterian, Cesar Sancho, just a redshirt freshman, 6 goals this year, all by headers. How does he impact this offense?
Yeah, set pieces are so important for this Presbyterian side, and he's crafty in the box. That's what it's to be a center back. You don't always have to be the tallest guy in the pitch. Knowing your way around that 18-yard box is huge, and when they've needed him, he's come up. Set pieces could be the difference tonight.
For the 3rd straight year, Presbyterian and Campbell meet in the Big South semifinal. When we come back, we'll give you starting lineups and what to expect. It's Campbell and PC here in the Big South semifinals on ESPN Plus.
Whether it's the practice field or weight room, in class or on game day, we compete down here. We put in work, day in and day out, to take a step forward towards degrees, championships. Our goals? Excellence on every level. 11 schools, more than 4,000 student athletes, one attitude. We are the Big South, where winners are made.
Geico makes it easy to get help when I need it. With licensed agents available 24/7, it's not just easy. It's having Jerome Bettis on your flag football team easy. Go get him, Bus!
Oh. Come on, Bus. Come on. Hey, wait. I'm glad I got the flag. I got your flag. I'm glad I got your flag.
It's Geico Easy, with licensed agents available 24/7.
49-0.
Bon boy.
Discover the new language of travel.
Bon voy.
Marriott Bonvoy. 30 hotel brands, endless experiences. Rewards reimagined.
This Big South game is brought to you in part by Sunbelt Rentals. We have equipment for that. And Marriott, the official hotel partner of the Big South Conference.
Welcome back to an absolutely Arctic night here in Bowie's Creek, North Carolina, where we're almost ready for Big South semifinal action. There's the whistle, and we are underway in Bowie's Creek. Campbell getting the ball immediately, and what a matchup this is. Jalen James driving forward. Good ball in for Mercer Miko, and now the Blue Hose. Their first touches in what has been a pretty traditional season for them in the postseason. They've come up big 2 years in a row now as the underdogs coming into this match, and how important it is for the Blue Hose to come up with another result in the postseason.
Talking to Jonathan Potter this week, the head coach of Presbyterian, he was telling us his team has found ways to score goals in the postseason. Overtime matches aplenty, 5 in their last 6, and they're going to want to grind this match out and slow down the high-scoring Camels.
Here's Moses Mensah and how high-scoring this Campbell team is, averaging almost 3 goals a game, while only allowing 6 goals in the first half all season. When we spoke to head coach Dustin Fonder, he said that's one thing that he had pointed out, of course, was that first 20 minutes. How big will that first goal be for either of these sides?
We're already seeing Presbyterian committing 10 bodies back defensively, staggered with their lines, 4-4-2 formation in this matchup, and Campbell's going to have to be patient, pass the ball around, try to find some openings, and here's the chance for a counterattack for Presbyterian.
4-on-4 if they can work it, Presbyterian. And there's Basafi Doti, one of the members of that Campbell back line that were so heavily awarded in the postseason awards. Swept them, Campbell did. Coach of the Year, Attacking Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, and Scholar Athlete.
When you finish 8-0 in the regular season and have an RPI in the top 40 like Campbell does, you're going to be rewarded. And the coaches around the league certainly gave Campbell some huge honors with all these all-conference honors.
Presbyterian themselves getting 5 honorees. Here's Moses Mensah, that Defensive Player of the Year. He, as well as 2 other new members of the Campbell back four, have been dynamite defensively. Here's James. Slipping. And fouling Pinto.
Sergio Pinto, number 9 in blue, is a player to keep an eye on tonight for Presbyterian. Both him and Sancho, the 2 leading goal scorers. He's going to be excellent in set pieces with those 5 goals, and Campbell's going to have to certainly track number 9.
There is Jalen James taken up on the right-hand side, and in the back of your shot, there is the man Cesar Sancho. Leads this team in goals, very surprisingly, with 6 as a defender. Up from George Badico, the only controversial addition to this Campbell lineup. Otherwise, it's pretty standard to what we've seen all season. Here is the Ghanaian.
This is a Campbell team that hasn't played in 13 days either. With the bye in the first round of the tournament, also with how the schedule unfolded. Their last game was in early November against High Point. A chance to awaken here in this first half.
Big stand from Sancho. Here comes that signature Presbyterian counterattack, snuffed out once again by Badico.
Let's not forget, Badico started the final 2 games of the tournament last year, and Dustin Fonder has confidence in him. He wants to put him in these situations, and the junior has shown he can step up in these moments.
Hugely important in Campbell's run last year. No goals conceded in the postseason for the Fighting Camels in their route to the Big South Championship. Johansson back into play.
And Presbyterian, let's not forget, their MO is playing from behind. They've done an excellent job this year, conceding that first goal against Winthrop in the first round, coming right back and scoring the game winner in overtime to win 2-1. This is right up their alley, and let's face it, when you've played 4 straight road matches in overtime, they're certainly accustomed to this style.
And what a turnaround it has been for Presbyterian. Just 5 seasons ago, they had not won a game. In the 2015 season, they've certainly turned it around, looking to make their 3rd straight Big South final appearance with a win on the road. Throw in for Mensah. It'll be a long ball. Knotted along by Rees. Ball recycled back to Mensah. That left-footed service is denied. And of course, that turnaround for Presbyterian goes a lot to speak of head coach Potter's abilities to be able to take a Presbyterian team and form almost a dynasty in the Big South.
Well, had Mazur's success at Elon at his last stop, a couple tournament appearances, 2 championships, and he certainly knows how to build a program. Now, not many returning players this year from last year's club that made the final. That being said, he has a core about 5 or 6 returners and has really implemented his system this year.
That'll be a handball against Matlock. And speaking of building programs, that's something that Dustin Fonder's looking to do here himself, returning quite a few players and looking to become a real powerful mid-major team.
And a prime example, right? So Matlock, who was all freshman team last year, now is a second-team all-conference player. He's just a sophomore. You have the freshman of the year as well for Campbell. There's a young nucleus to complement the likes of Gideon Betts and Ian Reese, the captains.
Matlock, the Englishman, the 2nd leading points getter in this side with 15. Of course, not within touching distance of the star striker, Thibaut Jaquel. Directly out of play, ball back with the Fighting Camels. What a run-in it was towards the end of the season for Campbell as they got to play their final regular season match in a regular season decision game against High Point. Been 13 days since they played in that game.
In fact, so much time they inter-squatted against themselves last Friday just to try to keep the energy up and to get some real game speed.
Badico.
The only negative from Dustin Fonder in that whole stretch was there wasn't a lot of defense in that inner squad. Plenty of goals scored, and that's what Campbell wants to do tonight, get up early and play from ahead.
Back in for Moses. All that hard work has paid off for Campbell this season, as they have moved into the top 30 in the rankings, ranked at number 29 at the moment.
So Ricardo Terces, number 6, he's playing the front position here, the front forward for PC. He's going to try to pressure the ball and create mistakes like this where Presbyterian can counter.
Ball in for Terces. Just misplaced, back with the Fighting Camels.
So he's third on the team with 4 goals. You have the 2 main strikers, of course, with Sancho and Pinto, but then you provide a good pressure on the ball and really trying to play that sunk it in style, that bunker, if you will, and then create the counterattack.
Locke. His ball blocked. Of course, one thing Coach Fonder mentioned to us was being able to switch that point of attack. That's going to be crucial tonight. Here's a good ball. First touch is for Klebe. German goalkeeper picking up big minutes. Just over 1,600. 51 saves for the German in his first side. And now Mensah with the cheeky turn.
Just a freshman in that left back position, and you can tell the footwork he has. He's very calm and stable, and Dustin Fonder, the Campbell coach, was telling us he looked Division I ready to make an impact from day one, and that seems to be the case here in his first season.
Presbyterian throw on the far side.
That's Lucas Ziegler right there, a second-team all-conference performer. PC earning that number 5 seed, but really playing much better soccer in the final month. And Ziegler was a huge reason as that defensive midfielder.
Ziegler in his 60th appearance tonight for the Blue Hose, and what an occasion it is. Terces, once again, unable to be found as the outlet. Here's Sam Lechuga. Perhaps the only snub from that first team. But then again, when a guy only faces a few shots a game, certainly skews his statistics.
And High Point is a pretty quality keeper of themselves that
absolutely
we'll see in the other semifinal tonight against Gardner-Webb. That match is also scoreless, so we'll definitely keep tabs on that as we go tonight because, of course, the 2 winners, then the highest seed remains, host the championship on Sunday. And as Campbell knows coming in this match, Zach, if they want to make the NCAA tournament, their best road is to win here in 2 and not leave it up to the selection committee on that next Monday.
Referee says no foul. James pulled back and we play on. Here's Mercer Miko. Referee no foul here. Few contentious calls, but we carry on.
Dimitar Shabdarov is playing a very fluid style. He's letting both teams get after it. He's going to let some physicality happen in this first half, and that's kind of what you want to see. You don't want to see the whistles blown too much in the first, 10+ minutes. We'll see how that changes in the second half, but right now he's letting them play.
Diallo there, called offside, looking for the chip over the top. First of the night. We're back underway. Mensah Defensive Player of the Year. Hooking up with Locke. Goal and an assist in his first year, the Ghanaian. It's what he's been able to do off the ball, and as a defender, that's been so important.
And we're seeing Campbell control about 95% of the possession right now. The key's going to be trying to find ways to create some channels in the middle and break down this defensive-minded Presbyterian club.
Now into Mercer Miko. Campbell continuing to be patient. Here's Gideon Batts. He scored the deciding goal in the 2018 championship and turns the ball over here. Nice footwork done by Pinto. Tursis. Crucial intervention from Gideon Betts.
Especially with Dapa cutting in from the far side. That's exactly what PC wants to do. Create those avenues, get some 2-on-1 opportunities, and then find a way to get a shot on target. Easier said than done against the best scoring defense in this conference.
Here's Ian Rees, scored the game winner in Campbell's last time out against High Point. Secured the regular season championship. Jaquel closing down. He's yet to have any meaningful touches in this match. Lovely play from Mensah to draw the foul.
Mensah did a nice job of holding himself firm in his position, receiving the ball and not trying to lean forward. Then Dapa forced to punch into him a little bit, create that contact, and an easy call.
Mensah, the most influential player here in the early proceedings in Bowie's Creek. And of course, all the defenders are. Rees. Of course, that says a lot about this Campbell team, that their defensive players are so influential in the attack. Betts dispossessed once again. Hernandez.
This is what PC wants to do right here. Play with numbers, play with speed. There's an offside, however. And Campbell, without their captain, falling down, dispossessed, able to get their back line in order and draw the offside.
Not for the first time tonight. Presbyterian called offside. Gideon Betts, not for the first time tonight, coming up with a defensive mistake there, pushing high up the field.
And that's what Campbell coach Dustin Fonder warned us about leading into this matchup. You're almost playing yourself offensively. You can't overthink it. You have to be precise, and then one mistake and boom, a counterattack can happen.
Of course, all the pressure will be on Campbell tonight, and that's something that was reiterated to us by Coach Potter. At home, one of their best seasons in program history. The impetus is on Campbell.
It's been the best season since Gideon Betts was not even a year old. Just to put that into perspective, 25 years.
Here is the German defender. Now Doty scored Campbell's lone goal in that 1-1 draw against the Tar Heels. And now Momo. Mercer Miko. Shuffling through traffic. Great footwork. Mercer Miko. Straight at Klebe.
Could not get much on that shot. He does a great job of weaving through traffic. And then Alamu with a point-blank chance right here. How about the ability to juke out one defender? He slides to the middle and then just not enough on that right foot. A nice stop by Klebe, but not enough to get it past him.
First shot of the night for either side. Falls the way of the Fighting Camels.
By the way, worth noting, High Point has already scored in their matchup against Gardner-Webb, so the Panthers at home off to a 1-0 lead, and we see Mercer Miko a few seconds ago a chance to do the same, but not enough mustard on that shot.
Luca Ziegler stands over this. Ziegler with 3 assists on the season leads the team. See Coach Potter in the background, watching on his side with an offensive set piece. To the back stick, a good ball, and the one-handed snag by Lechuga.
So Sancho at 6'3" has height, and he also has great timing of the ball in the air. We see it right there from Sancho heading it back in. Luckily for Lechuga, he had room to backpedal, but that's how he scored. All 6 of his goals have come in those set pieces.
Ziegler with some smart play to watch that one out.
And that's what Dustin Fonder warned. He said that you can defend so well, be in position, but sometimes great players can just overmatch or over-quality your defensive effort, and that was almost the case right there.
No handball call. And now Betts. Moses Mensah. Campbell still trying to get a touch on the ball for Thibaut Jaquel. He's been isolated. Of course, how do you think that conversation went down, deciding whether or not to mark one of the nation's leading scorers? Jalen James. And now Mercer Miko. Momo closed out.
Well, it's not only Jaquel as well. It's a top 5 scoring team in the country. So pick your poison a little bit. You slow down Jaquel, then you have Locke and Elbastu and Aganu and guys that all have 5+ goals that can really impact the match, even off the bench as well.
This Campbell offense having a lot of joy. 34 goals since the start of October. Ziegler gets it out. And here's Mensah again, pulling the strings from left back. Locke. Cutting. Working space. And our head referee getting a touch on the night.
Shavdarov, the 12th defender for Presbyterian tonight.
There's Campbell switching that attack. And winning a throw. Momo with 4 assists on the season from right back. Of course, offensively, Campbell finding goals and assists from all over the place, including their defense.
And you are seeing Campbell push those 2 backs on both sides up the pitch a little bit, trying to spread the ball out, create some movement back and forth across the field, and that may be an avenue where they can find out space like this.
Locke, his first time ball's denied. Good diagonal ball. Shaquel comes, and here's Abel. Kept alive by Johansson.
And this is Presbyterian's first real consistent possession. We sit now 20 minutes into this half. A chance for them to really be able to hold the ball down and create some pressure on this Campbell back line. Let's not forget they scored 2 goals at home against Campbell. That was the most they conceded in a match this year in the conference. So we talk about how PC's been so battle-tested. They also have confidence, a 6-2 loss, but they really hung in there for the first 60 minutes.
It took a Thibaut Jaquel hat trick to down the Blue Hose. What will it take tonight? That was the 10th meeting between these two teams. Campbell now leads the series 6-5. No ties in the series. We won't be having one tonight. The possibility of extra time and penalties.
And that's what Presbyterian wants to do, right? They want to extend this match, slow it down, continue to camp 10 defenders in this box, and you see it right there.
The cutback nearly working. Mensah keeping the pressure on. Here is Jaquel. Nice back heel. And back with Campbell's defense. Badico, an important pickup. And back to square one.
I do like the creativity here from Campbell, though, trying to expunge every different position, move Matt Locke around as a free roamer, try to find Jaquel in different spots and work with openings.
Here's Mercer Miko. The game plan for Presbyterian now executed to a T thus far.
Punctuated with the capital P.
How important will keeping a clean sheet in this first half be for the away side?
Campbell this year has not lost when they have scored first. I think Presbyterian knows that, especially the way the last matchup went. They want to keep this scoreless for as long as possible.
Here's Locke, and now Mercer Miko turning. And they'll have to restart Campbell. Momo. Crucial stop on that cross. James. Referee says goal kick. Kleba started all but 2 matches this year. Only 1 clean sheet, though. This Presbyterian side trying to stand up one of the nation's best offenses. Campbell 12th in the nation in goals against as far as their defense goes, but where they've really shined is that attack. 3rd in the nation in goals per game. It's up to that man, Kleba. Away by Sancho. And now Mercer Miko. Momo. And now James in the 18.
Look at the amount of bodies Presbyterian's committing on the ball. It's 4 to 5 players within striking distance of the ball.
Campbell with more than a few touches inside that 18-yard box. Mercer Miko with space to work. The Spaniard, a left footer, straight to Klebe.
Campbell this year, 49 goals. They're knocking on the door of 50 total. They've averaged 4 per match in the conference. What has Presbyterian done? Only 1 quality shot. Everything's been long crosses into the box, and that's allowed Klebe to maintain, keep it in front, and make nice plays.
It's been quiet comparatively for this Campbell side. Nice work from Rees, and we play on. All one-way traffic through the beginning parts. The first half of the first half here in this Big South semifinal. Badico's done well thus far, replacing Humberto Chavez at the base of that midfield. We'll see how long they stick with him as that holding midfielder. Rees and now Mensah. The layoff not there. Abel.
Feels sort of like a punt there by Abel, trying to really just get the ball out, allow his defense to reset, if you will. And Campbell has controlled 98.7% of the possession, it feels. Trying to continue to work the ball around and create some space in this gridlock of a defense.
Badico once again calm under pressure. Into the channels, a beautiful layoff. Touches off of Abel last. Campbell yet to find a crack in this Presbyterian defense.
And just one shot on target. That was Mercer Miko. Had a clean look from the top of the box, but couldn't get much on it. And now, as the time continues to tick, does that pressure, does that anxiety kick in for the Campbell team that's undefeated in the regular season? Has all the pressure on them. And can Presbyterian play with some of that momentum?
Great footwork from Diallo. And it's Momo going down and drawing the foul. Nice work from Momo, shutting up shop at an important moment defensively.
And we'll see Dapa here. Plays the ball and then grabs the jersey. That's where the foul is going to be committed. Reaching out and pulling down Frank Momo, another one of those all-conference performers.
Now Locke. 10 points in his last 6 games for Matt Locke. A goal and an assist in 3 of the last 5. Could he be the key? Doty. And now James, good transition. Now Mercer Miko. Shanks it just wide. Best chances of the match have fallen to the Spaniard.
Alamus did a nice job of getting himself in open space. And we're going to see here as this ball gets sent in by James on a deflection. He finds an avenue outside the 8-yard box, but that shot way far to the left of the post. He's going to keep getting looks like that as the defense sinks in. That's going to be an area Campbell will look to capitalize on.
Mercer Miko on his weaker left foot. It shows there. Lofted up by Mensah. And now Locke. Abel.
Abel has been all over the field today. He concedes a corner. Presbyterian, they had 20 corner kicks in their win over Winthrop. This is what they want to do. Get the ball into the box, let Sancho go up and try to head something in. This is the first real test for this Campbell defense. Can they hold off and slow down Presbyterian that has really had, what, 1% of possession? And this is their best look here in this first half.
So savvy from set pieces. What can the Blue Hose draw up from the corner kick? First of the match for either side.
Keep an eye on number 5 in the blue. He'll be the main heading option here for Presbyterian.
Ziegler with the armband. Back stick. Away by Lechuga. Campbell able to clear. Big time stop on the first major set piece of the night.
And you all of a sudden see 5 Presbyterian players sink back into that defensive mind, quickly trying to settle down. You almost want to say control the pace in this situation and not allow Campbell to get a turnover here and then go right back on the offensive end.
And a free kick here, another set piece.
Now that's Jalen James hooking around Sergio Pinto. Did a nice job of holding his position. And not a hard foul, but one when you can't grab the hip and pull, and that's exactly what happened.
It'll come off either the foot of Ziegler or Pinto. Pinto with an assist in every game that he's played in Bowie's Creek.
And the all-time leading scorer in this program's modern history.
Here it is, front stick. There it is, the big German Gideon Betts.
Betts, he's been through the ropes, 70 starts now at Campbell, and he's had some good battles with Presbyterian the last 3 Big South tournaments. This one with a championship berth on the line.
Johansson, away by Momo. This is a good spell of possession here for Presbyterian.
Jaquel seems a bit befuddled with the call, and as this match continues to unfold and this slow, methodical PC defense starts to unplug, can Campbell keep their patience and keep their mindset locked in? Because it can be frustrating playing a style like this.
And of course, hugely frustrating for Campbell. They've had their pace of play broken up, which surely must be on the cards for Presbyterian to be doing.
We have seen, though, a little bit more bodies forward for PC, and if you're Coach Potter, now you got to be careful in moments like this with Jaquel, the 3rd leading scorer in the country, getting any bit of space.
Referee with a tough call, the linesman puts the flag the way of the Blue Hose. James, the control. And now Mercer Miko. Momo does the tracking back. Campbell restart. In for Locke. A nice turn. Jaquel. And now Mensah.
Such a tough responsibility here for Abel. Keep Mensah in front. Don't allow him to turn to that right foot and really create a strong chip into the box.
Campbell no way through on one side. They go to the other. Away by Ziegler. Down line looking for Diallo. Campbell now working down this left-hand flank.
This is where Locke is so dangerous. But he almost runs into Jaquel, and that slows down possession. It's difficult to navigate through all these bodies when you have 10 defensive, and Gideon Betts called for a clear foul. Might even be a card here.
And it will be an early yellow for Gideon Betts on the slide challenge on Abel.
So we see Betts here not really playing the ball, cleat up. That's a clear yellow card there against Abel. And Betts has to be careful, obviously, especially in a semifinal. You want to avoid that red card in this matchup for today's game, but of course, then he'd be out for the championship as well.
For those of you at home wondering, there was no contact there. It does not always have to be contact to warrant a foul. High cleat is that alone. Ziegler standing over. You can see the numbers in there. We mentioned that big number 5. Be closed down by his opposite number, Basafi Doty.
Yeah, 5 and 6, the 2 key goal scorers for Presbyterian. This is where Ziegler, the all-conference junior, wants to lay this in with some height and pace and give his team a chance to go directly to goal on this cross into the box.
Ziegler's responsibility. 3 assists on the year for a combined 7 points. Here it comes from the German. Service not what he was looking for.
Now there was Matt Locke there. He almost fell trying to keep it in front, but that's a key play to knock it down.
Rees. Referee says free kick behind the play.
So there was a grab from behind after the initial possession was gained by Campbell.
There's Alamu Mercer-Miko. The two chances have fallen his way tonight. You feel like perhaps so much of the marking is going on that front three that he's allowed to slip in as a unmarked man in behind?
Devalier's been all over Jaquel, and that has allowed some openings for Mercer-Miko tonight. Campbell, though, this is their first real chance to swing a ball into the box, and you see they're a little bit off target, and now they're going to have to reset and basically start over again.
Lechuga has not had much to do tonight. In past the final 15 here of the first half of the Big South semifinal.
And Zach, Campbell has scored in every match since September 17th. I mean, this run in conference play, 4 goals a match. They just came off an 8-goal match in their final home contest. They know how to score. That frustration starts to kick in as we hit the final 14 minutes, and we see PC not only limiting shots, they've kept the ball to the outside. Nothing has been able to get through this top of 10 in the middle outside that 18-yard box.
Betts with the bring down. And now Badico. Campbell overloading that far side. Switches the point of attack to Mensah. And now Locke. No substitutions made for either side, interestingly enough. Perhaps we'll see one of those shortly. Momo. Back with Presbyterian.
If for just a second.
The layoff not quite there.
That type of pass from Jaquel, though, is what makes Tebow so dangerous. Led this team in assists last year, and right there trying to put a ball out in front for Mercer-Miko to catch up to it and try to get a shot off from 8 to 10 yards out. That time the communication wasn't there, but maybe another avenue to where Campbell's going to try to manufacture offense.
Second this year in assist with 5, the Frenchman, to go along with his 15 goals.
That time he tried to pass it himself off the back heel. Pretty creative there from the Frenchman. But with this type of attention, 3 to 4 defenders everywhere he goes, it's going to be tough to score in the pace of play. And the other semifinal, we had a pretty high-scoring affair, 2-1 High Point in that first half. Meanwhile, this game, much more defensive-minded. Critically, just 2 shots on target. It's been a drastically different game than what we're seeing over at High Point.
And now Doty. Campbell still looking to find that moment where they can slip in. Chested down, but away by Abel. And now Betts. Locke with Johansson out of position. Matt Locke, a great ball. No one there to tap it home.
Just in front of his leading striker, Jaquel, and Locke, who leads this team in assists. Right up there in the Big South ranks as well. If he puts that ball just a little bit less pace, Jaquel can one-time it in, but you like the creative touch there.
Ball in for Diallo. And away by Mensah. Abel into the channels. Gideon Betts unperturbed.
Outside of the yellow card from Betts tonight, Campbell has really handled the counterattacking of Presbyterian. And we're going to see now Elbastu come in, Aaron Elbastu, an offensive-minded player, and also Alex Iganu, the junior. These two, they have been critical goal scorers on the year. 12 combined goals, and you see Dustin Fonder in these final 10 minutes trying to spark a little bit of his offense.
A new option on the wing, and a new option in the heart of midfield for Campbell. Can they unlock the Presbyterian defense? Doty with just 10 minutes to go in the first half. Now Betts. Player with probably the most touches in this match. Away by Hernandez.
That's exactly what Presbyterian wants to do. Swarm the ball, get it to Hernandez, the senior, play inside their half of the pitch, and really clog up the passing lanes.
Something they've done to a T tonight. Off by Jaquel. Taken away from Elbastu. And that high press for Presbyterian stops at the midfield stripe.
It's a style certainly built for the postseason, and that's what allowed them to play so many overtime matches here as of late. 5 of their last 6, countless overtime wins in the playoffs these last few years, including a shootout victory over High Point to win the championship. They're very content to play in this style.
Bedico. Reese unable to get there. Here's Pinto. Great work from Momo. Campbell now, perhaps with some players out of position. And there's Ziegler. He's come up big all season for this Presbyterian team. Momo. Doty now. First time layoff from Jaquel.
Perfect touch, though, by Jaquel. That's what you want to do as a forward.
Spots the run of Rees. No one there to get the knockdown. Diallo. Important work from Bedico. Now here's Jaquel. Away by Johansson. And you have to wonder how long these legs of Presbyterian can continue to put up with the onslaught.
Abel did a nice job of pushing that ball up to midfield, but to your point, for Presbyterian, as long as the legs work in unison, as long as the communication is key, this is a style you can play for extended minutes knowing that a shootout might be coming.
Here's Pinto. Taken away, Momo once again.
Momo has dispossessed Pinto 3 times in this first half. It has been clinical, and really Presbyterian has struggled to get any quality possession on this half of the midfield.
Campbell trying to go quickly. Here's Jaquel drifting deep. Mensah. Ball in for Elbastu. A nice shot. German denied by German. Kleba with a stop.
Elbastu that time, kind of like the Mercer-Mikos shot, and we'll see it right here. Trying to get some oomph on the shot, get some power behind it. This time as he steps, that plant foot gives out a little bit on him, and not enough of a chance to swerve that ball up to the top corner.
Campbell continuing to work their offense in. Only minor gaps showing. Bedico. Alex Aganu. Campbell fans on the far side picking up in full voice.
They're looking for something to cheer about right now, because with 3 combined shots on target, it has been a defensive masterpiece.
Most certainly a chess match, as the cliche is often used.
That's a clear shove there on Elbastu. That's going to be a foul. Hernandez, though, has done a great job in these defensive midfield areas, keeping possession. The captain has been stable with the ball. And now Harry Abel is going to need a second to get worked on by the trainers, but certainly if you're Presbyterian, this is what you want to see. A frustrated Campbell, overpassing a little bit, trying to force balls into tight windows. And now Noah Joseph, the sophomore from Simpsonville, will come in. A little bit more size at 6 feet, and maybe if you're PC, a chance to try to get something in motion here in these final 6 minutes. I doubt it, but maybe.
Players certainly forward for Presbyterian, 4 of them in the attacking half along that Campbell back line.
Well, that was a cheeky touch there. Referee certainly all over it.
Gonna struggle to keep this one in play. Ball back with Campbell with 6 minutes remaining.
And this is where the Big South semifinal intensity kicks in. These teams have met the last 2 years. They know their style of play. And now if you're PC, the longer this match, you hang around, you stick into this game. Maybe you have 1 or 2 shots on target like we've seen off of free kicks into the box. That's just going to put even more pressure on the top seed in Campbell that has been in this spot before, but they haven't faced the expectation of hosting and trying to win as the top seed.
Of course, the hosting side has not had the best of luck. Number 1 seeds going down in each of the last 2 tournaments. Jaquel, Locke, beautiful touch. Even better footwork, Hernandez. And away by Joseph.
Joseph coming right off the bench, and that clearance is critical. If that ball sneaks forward, you have Locke and Jaquel looking eye to eye, maybe some movement one-on-one, and they can create a shot on target.
Mensah. Jaquel, a great nod on. Could this be a wonderful team goal? Kleba and Jaquel, the flag stays down, it'll count.
He was searching for that 16th goal on the season. Your nation's 3rd leading scorer on a deflected ball that takes about 8 different hops. Finally finds a way to break through the Presbyterian defense. It starts off the keeper, Kleba. He knocks it down. Igano gets it to Jaquel, and the junior does the rest.
It took over 40 minutes to come, but it's Thibaut Jaquel, who else, picking up his 37th point of the year to break Presbyterians back here late on in the first half.
And let's see what Thibaut Jaquel can do right here, because he had not scored in his last 3 matches. Searching for an option, the keeper knocks it down, and Igano with a critical touch. He finds Jaquel with the right foot, and that's an easy finish for one of the best scorers in the country.
A reaction finish from the Frenchman. And now how will Presbyterian respond?
Let's not forget, when you play that bunkered in style, now trailing a goal, may not affect the final 4 minutes, but it's going to change how PC must play. You can only hold back defensively so long when you're chasing a goal.
Locke. Ball straight back with Campbell. And if you are Presbyterian, you just try and see out the rest of this first half and then focus coming back out in the second?
Their best success has been on the counter, forcing corner kicks, creating the indirect off the yellow card, and really trying to get some of those free balls in the box. Otherwise, there hasn't been much against the Campbell team that, Zach, when they score first, 13-0-1, that's a tough task to beat if you're PC tonight.
And yet to even mention, Campbell undefeated at home, 8-0-1. Tursis and now Hernandez. Joseph and some good transition play just ahead of Ziegler.
Now let's not forget, just in their last match, Presbyterian allows a goal in the first 10 minutes. They come right back, they score in the second half, they win it in overtime, the second overtime period, kind of a fluke goal, just like that attempt. They know how to be in these moments. It's much different when you face a Campbell team that's knocking the door of a top 30 ranking in the country and really can be potent offensively.
Pressure relieved momentarily for Campbell. Thought they might be going into the half scoreless. Their finishers finally able to find their feet. Elbow stew. And now Mensah. The fancy feet. Risky sliding challenge from Tursis. And now Rees.
Let's not sleep on Campbell here trying to strike for a second goal. They have really put bodies forward in these last 5 minutes.
Emotions running high here at the close of the first half in the Big South semifinal. Campbell the 1 seed, Presbyterian the 5. Thibaut Jaquel strike, the difference thus far.
To your point, Zach, the last time PC was a 5 seed, a 1-1 draw in overtime, came down to a shootout. Radford won. The next 2 years, these previous, the 1 seed has lost in the semifinals. So a lot to be determined.
Cheers going up for every Campbell pass. They've certainly had plenty of them in this first period of play. And that's a free kick. Offensive set piece for the Fighting Camels.
That was a tough play. Pinto tried to shield off Campbell from pushing forward, and Momo was so quick on the ball that Pinto had to turn his hips. There was contact, and that's up to the lead referee to make the call. He's going to give the free kick here.
Locke to take this set piece. Already leads the team in assists with 7. Here it comes from the Englishman. Referee says free kick against Campbell. Looks like it might be Gideon Betts, the guilty party in there.
And that was Jaquel raising his elbows on that one, trying to create space. You do see it called, especially when bodies are falling to the floor. And a clear call, but you see now Presbyterian trying to get something going in this last 60 seconds.
And now Betts into the final 60 seconds of the first half.
It was sort of a scoring drought for Jaquel, if you think about it. 3 matches without a goal, given how potent he can be. Got to 15 in the blink of an eye, and now at number 16, he is right on the door of becoming the nation's leading scorer. Needs another to do so, but certainly showing you why he is so clinical in the box, can finish. That ball was deflected towards his foot, and a nice punch work from the Frenchman.
Jaquel certainly knows how to score against Presbyterian. 8 points. A hat trick and 2 assists in their last meeting. Scored or at least contributed a point in all but 6 games this season. He'll add another tally.
Campbell seems content to run out the clock here with a 1-0 lead.
And that'll take us into the half. It took 40 minutes, but Campbell were able to finally crack the Presbyterian resistance and get a goal through Thibaut Jaquel. It'll be a 1-0 lead for the home side in the 1 seed going into the Geico halftime report. Make sure to stick with us here on ESPN+.
Whether it's the practice field or weight room, in class or on game day, we compete down here. We put in work day in and day out to take a step forward towards degrees, championships, our goals, excellence on every level. 11 schools, more than 4,000 student athletes, one attitude. We are the Big South, where winners are made.
Geico makes it easy to get help when I need it. With licensed agents available 24/7, it's not just easy. It's having Jerome Bettis on your flag football team easy. Go get him, Bus!
Ooh. Come on, Bus. Come on. Hey, wait. I'm glad I got the flag. I got your flag, man. I got your flag.
It's Geico Easy, with licensed agents available 24/7.
49-0.
One boy.
Discover the new language of travel.
Bon voy.
Marriott Bonvoy. 30 hotel brands, endless experiences, rewards reimagined.
This Big South game is brought to you in part by Sunbelt Rentals. We have equipment for that. And Marriott, the official hotel partner of the Big South Conference.
Welcome back to Bowie's Creek, where it's 1-0 between the Campbell Fighting Camels and the Presbyterian Blue Hose in a Big South semifinal. Let's show you those first half highlights to give you an idea of how things went in the first 45.
Alamo Mercer-Miko, 2 critical chances in the first 10 minutes. This one rolled to the keeper, Clive, and then late you see Presbyterian off a yellow card by Gideon Betts. This is a dangerous header, especially with how good Cesar Sancho is in these situations, going up and heading balls in. Another critical chance by Mercer-Miko. But again, early in this first half, not many clean looks on target for Campbell.
Mercer-Miko with his second opportunity that he shanks wide on the left. It was pretty much all Campbell in this match, but set pieces could very well be the difference. Nearly got an opportunity there. Good opportunity from Locke. But it all came down to this goal from Thibaut Giquel in a scrappy finish.
Well, Agano does a great job of punching that ball forward, and then Giquel, he's peeking, he's looking, he's trying to find a goal, and finally he picks up his 16th. It's almost been a calendar month since one of the top scorers in the country found the back of the net, and a good time to do so here on a semifinal night in Buies Creek.
37th point of the year for Thibaut Giquel. He just keeps going. Well, we'll be back right after this on our Geico Halftime Report for plenty more. Stick with us here on ESPN+.
Yep. Yeah, we'll talk about two questions, and then maybe I'll just say, hey, let's take a look at the stats, and then you can throw them in. No, it's because of the black background behind us. We'll lean them more forward. I think the auto settings sometimes get a little tough with this camera. You almost have to go manual iris. Welcome back inside the broadcast booth alongside my partner Zach Burley. Evan Budrovich with you here at halftime. It's Campbell, the top seed, up 1-0 as Thibaut Giquel, top 5 in the nation in scoring. He puts Campbell out in front. How important was that goal for this Campbell squad?
It's huge, mostly just for their confidence, because you know they could get a goal anytime in this match. It's just a matter of their mentality, whether or not they thought they could. And so to be able to get it with just 5 minutes left and to take that momentum into the break, it could really make the difference for this team.
Here through the first 45 minutes, High Point, the 2 seed, is leading 2-1 at the break. Campbell, the top seed, is up 1-0 at halftime. What's going to be the difference for Campbell? How can they put this match away and advance to the championship?
It's continuing to be persistent, to keep working on this defense, to hold on to the ball. You can't give chances away to Presbyterian willy-nilly, and you got to be close. You got to be tight on set pieces, otherwise you're going to give up a goal there.
Alaba Mercer-Miko, 2 of those 4 shots on target for Campbell in the first half, and Presbyterian with a lone corner kick setting up one of their best looks of half number 1. When we come back, we'll get you set for half number 2. Campbell tries to go back to the conference finals for the second straight year, and PC, they look to come from behind and force their 3rd trip in 3 years to the conference championship. That's all next here on ESPN+. Welcome back to the Geico Halftime Report here in Bowie's Creek, North Carolina. It's the top seed, the Campbell Fighting Camels, trying to advance to the conference championship match for the second straight year. Taking on the upstart, big dog killers, if you will, the Presbyterian Blue Hose. They've been to the finals the last 2 seasons as well. Evan Budrovich and Zach Burley with you. And Zach, let's profile both these clubs and give you a sense of how they got to this point. Of course, for Campbell, this team dominant at home this year. Did not lose a match at 8-0-1. Continue what's been their best regular season since they were a member of the A-Sun 15 years ago.
Yeah, the biggest part there is that home dominance. That just gives you another incentive to go on and win that regular season when you do have such a good home record, because you know if you win, you're going to play all your games at home. So for them to be able to not only know that they're confident on the ball, but to know they're confident at home, they're going to have a good crowd here, that's going to provide so much more as far as their mentality going on and winning a championship.
And for Presbyterian as the 5 seed, this is a team that we've mentioned it coming in. Did not win a game before Jonathan Potter took over 4 years ago. They've now won 6 or more matches in every year, including a championship 2 years ago, and they're knocking on the door here in 2019.
Yeah, to get to a third final would be crazy. I mean, you're saying that's 3 finals in the last 3 years, a championship even there, even if they don't win this one. I mean, that's the sort of transition that you want to see bringing in a new head coach. That's the mandate, showing this is what you wanted me to come out and do, and I'm doing it here. In a team, like you said, that 5 years ago hadn't won a game, so really would be quite the turnaround for Presbyterian.
High Point leading at the break, the number 2 seed 2-1, and the top seed Campbell leading 1-0 through 45 minutes. Bundle up. We got a cold but fun night in Bowie's Creek coming up next. Second half when we return here on The Plus. This matchup exposes one of the closer all-time series in Campbell program history. Not only in the postseason, the last 2 years they have met. PC won on this pitch 2 years ago. Campbell returned the favor on Championship Sunday last year What makes this matchup so intriguing, especially what we've seen tonight?
Yeah, it's the classic example of quality over quantity. They only played for just a few years, first meeting back in 2011, but every time these guys play, it's a chippy game, it's an exciting game. This has been the most closed down game we've seen of any that they've played, perhaps all the way back to last year's championship game. Just a lot of fun. It's because both teams come in with a winning mentality, and as you can tell, they both want to win championships.
Campbell, 45 minutes away from their 9th ever appearance in the championship match. Presbyterians trying to make it for the 3rd straight year, but they have their work cut out for them as we kickstart the second half here in Bowie's Creek.
And it says a lot to have George Bedico in the center circle taking these. He was so influential last year, and to have him taking the kickoff, staying on in the second half, I wondered if perhaps they were going to sub him off and go for someone more attacking.
Here we go, half number 2. The winner is on to the championship final this Sunday. Campbell with a 41st minute goal from their leading scorer, Thibaut Jaquel. That's been the difference in this low-scoring affair.
And another interesting point is that they stayed with the exact team that came off at the half. We still have Elbastu in the middle and still Aganu on the right. So maybe there was something they saw there at the end that they wanted to keep going.
Aganu with a critical touch, credited with an assist on that first goal. And now the all-conference midfielder Frank Momo swinging it back to Gideon Betts. Presbyterian chasing a goal. So good defensively in that first half. We'll see when they start to turn on the pedal to the metal and try to be more offensive-minded. Elbastu and Momo collide, and Bedico finds his captain in Betts. Gideon Betts, another all-conference honor, the defensive player of the year. Did commit a yellow card tonight, but he has been an influential part of how Campbell has limited opponents.
Yeah, and he's got to be careful sitting on that yellow, but he does so much on and off the ball. And, I mean, how many passes has he had tonight? I mean, probably more than anyone sitting back there as a playmaker all the way as the last outfield player.
He's also sort of been the communicator on this back line, trying to swing the ball around, sort of a coach on the field for Campbell tonight.
That's the one thing, your number 10s and the players you think are more stereotypical creative players, they can't always see the entire field. A goalkeeper, a center back, they've got everything to look at, and they can always see where the movement is.
Jaquel trying to turn around Delvellier, and now swung out. This is Frank Momo centering it in. Elbastu with a touch, and cleared by Devalle.
That was a big moment there. I think that the first touch could have been a little bit better. Inside that 18-yard box.
That goes off Campbell, so it's a Presbyterian throw. PC so committed to playing 10 behind their line at midfield. Now a chance to push forward with Ziegler, the captain, throwing it in. Dustin Fonder, so patient, wearing the sweatpants tonight as the temperature dips below 30 degrees. That was his barometer for how pressure-filled this game would be. He's a man who wears shorts 9 times out of 10. Thought wisely of it tonight.
The weather conditions certainly have not made it more fun for the players out on the field. And
Gideon Betts, who's sporting the gloves of his assistant coach, Tom Poole, had to borrow some tonight as the senior looks to center it in. Aganu chests it down and cleared for the moment by Presbyterian. Devalle forced to shoot one up into the sky. And we're seeing the pressure of Campbell start to mount here on a PC team chasing a goal in the second half.
Salamatu has come on for Presbyterian maybe to provide more of an outlet in midfield. But you can already tell they're committing more men forward, and it's opened up the other end as well.
Diallo swings it out wide. And now a touch forward searching for Tursis. There's the second team all-conference keeper laying off and letting it go out for a goal kick. Sam Lechuga, who has pitched an impressive 9 shutouts this year, searching to send his team to the championship. He's been tested on a couple of headers, and he's lived up to the billing.
Yeah, last year is the complete contrast to what he's done this year. Last year he's making a lot more saves. Of course, came up with some big 3 saves in the Big South semifinals on the road. But this year hasn't been called upon to have that same role. He's had to sit on his line a lot, which is difficult, especially as cold as it is. Your muscles are going to tighten up and maybe make it more difficult for you to come up with those big moment plays. He hasn't had one yet, but if he does, I'm sure he'll be equal to it.
Keep dispossession there by Sancho, the leading goal scorer for Presbyterian this year. And now Matt Locke, the speedster, swings it middle to Aganu. A touch off the chest of Jaquel, and he's feeling that one tonight on a cold, damp night in Bowie's Creek.
And that ball is going to be a little bit harder because of it as well, so that's definitely going to hurt.
That's a Locke missile. And now sent back to the captain in Betts. Campbell trying to return to the championship match for the second straight year. And meanwhile, in our second semifinal, they're deadlocked at 2 apiece, Gardner-Webb and High Point. As the Panthers, the number 2 seed, in a battle with Gardner-Webb tonight. The upstart Runham Bulldogs, one of the better scoring teams in our league.
Yeah, 2 totally different matches. For a neutral, somebody that doesn't watch soccer as avidly, that's probably the better match for you. But if you like to see tactical play, this is the game. The one that's been a lot of back and forth, some slight adjustments by either team, and it's going to come down to a lot of tactics, who can get their system right.
Presbyterian on the throw-in finds Hernandez. And out in front now looking for Tursis. This is Gideon Betts, slowly laying it off to his keeper. And that's been the play for Presbyterian, pushing the ball down the channels on the far side and really testing that back line of Campbell's defense.
And they're going to have 5 players forward for this ball. It's going to come in from Johansson, so that's much more than they were committing forward in the first half.
Simon Johansson started 17 matches this year. Finds a chest, but so little room to work with for Salamatu. He does earn the throw. Campbell's defense, meanwhile, top 20 in the country in goals against average. They'll be tested here in this second half as Presbyterian commits numbers forward, trying to even up the match. Rees wins the header. And Hernandez, with pressure on him, has this pass sent back to the midline.
And now the 2 teams have switched roles. How many times in the first half did we see Campbell in this position and Presbyterian on the back foot?
Momo wins the header in the air, and Locke bicycles it towards center pitch. Nice turn on the ball by Ido Martin, beating Jaquel and sending it near side to Devalle. That ball is out of play, so a Campbell throw. This Campbell squad that scored 6 goals when these teams met back on October 12th. A much different tone to this match, and one that Presbyterian seems very content with playing through the first 50 minutes.
That's going to be the hard part about it, is when you score 6 on a team, it's very unlikely they're going to give you that sort of space and ability to do it again. They're going to be extra determined to keep the scoreline low.
Tough pressure on Lechuga, but there's a foul before the pass back in. That's called on Presbyterian. Sergio Pinto with the contact. Pinto, 15 career goals. All-time leader in modern program history, and this year 5 goals himself. He's that secondary striker to play alongside Sancho.
Yeah, and he's also got the tied most for game-winning goals in a career with 4, so he could be a difference maker tonight.
Of course, a player we haven't mentioned much tonight, Brett Wilson, scored the game winner against Winthrop. He has not been a major factor. In fact, has not even come into the match yet tonight. We'll see if Presbyterian has an ace in their sleeve for later.
When you play as many overtime games as Presbyterian, you kind of get that steely mindset from players all over the field.
Tough room to operate for Pinto against this clogged up Campbell defense. And Ian Rees now letting his legs fly. Rees running the line and drawing the throw in off the foot of Ziegler.
One thing that we spoke with Campbell head coach Dustin Fonder was about the team being a hybrid team. They're able to play in a lot of different styles. In the first half, we saw ultra possession. And this side, we've seen them be more conservative. It's not just something that they are forced to do. He said it's something that they can do because they want to. And they've wanted to do it, and they've done it well thus far. It's just a matter of whether or not conceding possession will be a wise move for them by the end of the game.
Frank Momo, in the shadow of his own head coach Dustin Fonder, throws it in. And Aganu trying to win possession. He'll be called for the foul. Fighting off of the arm there of Chris Salamatu, the redshirt freshman out of France.
Yeah, Ganu giving away the foul, and he's been big. He hasn't had as many starts as a lot of the other players in that front 3, but he's been just as influential as we've seen coming off the bench and being able to be an impact sub.
A critical assist on the Jaquel goal. That's been the difference maker all the way back with 4 minutes to play in the first half. Now a much more free-flowing second period of play with the winner on to the Big South Championship final this Sunday.
And just like we spoke about with Campbell, Presbyterian can do the same thing. It's not like they don't attack because they can't. They just choose not to. And here they're showing that they do have that ability to go forward, move the ball quickly, and find attacking opportunities.
Ziegler's pass is intercepted by Momo, and Frank beautifully plays it to Aganu, chipping it middle, and Hernandez comes up with it. Now open space for Ricardo Hernandez, the Spaniard. Presbyterian, 20 underclassmen on this team. It's a young group, but a veteran-savvy club as well at certain positions. And now Campbell with the throw. Much like you see Moses Mensah, a talented group as well of young players. Having those three captains in Jaquel and Betts and Rees to guide a group that starts 5 new players and yet a seamless transition with an 8-0 regular season.
Yeah, those captains play a big role in it, especially with the defense starting 3 new players. To be able to have the defensive record that they do is just really impeccable.
George Bedico now in space. Bedico's pass is taken by Hernandez. Here comes Presbyterian trying to tie this up. Out in front to Diallo. Diallo on goal. And Lechuga bats it down. The first strike of the second half from the Blue Hose. And the junior keeper is all over it.
Yeah, it's textbook from Presbyterian. Still in that counter-attacking mindset there, getting the shot away. But it all starts off with Bedico in midfield. And I do wonder if some point, now that they're having to pass the ball through a more congested midfield higher up the pitch, if they will go back to Humberto Chavez, because George Bedico is that sweeping midfielder, cleans up plays, and is more defensive.
Ito Martin wins the throw-in for PC. A Presbyterian club that they're trying to continue this savvy postseason run. In their last 3 years, they have been overtime heavy in this stretch. Made 2 championship finals, and here in the semis for the 4th straight year. Jaquel is slow to get up after contesting for that header. Might have got stepped on, so he hobbles back into play. And now a turn. Pinto heads towards goal. Shielded off by Aganu. And contact is now whistled. That's a foul on Sergio Pinto. He is down. And the clock stops as the head referee keeps an eye on Pinto.
Yeah, and clock management will be really interesting as the rest of the game goes. Of course, it's free running, and it's up to the referee to stop it, but always is interesting to see how each referee manages the clock on their wrist.
Dimitar Shavdarov will be a man very closely watched as we approach these final 33 minutes. Also, Jerry Haymeyer, the timekeeper, will be someone we will keep our tabs on throughout this match as Campbell tries to work to a championship final. A long ball now for Presbyterian. Diallo can't catch up to it. Neither can Tursis, and Campbell quickly turns it around towards midfield.
Yeah, right now Campbell are just giving bait to Presbyterian, just allowing them to work their way into this game when if they held on to the ball perhaps a little bit more, they wouldn't be giving away those opportunities.
And what's better than the animosity of a second half postseason match? You're starting to see a little bit of the chippiness kick in. The enthusiasm of this crowd has picked up as well. As Campbell, the lone goal from Thibaut Jaquel, that's been the difference. They have been unbeaten when scoring first, and especially here at home, even more dangerous. We have seen Presbyterian be more aggressive in this half as Johansson gets it into Hernandez.
And I think this is the start, these first 20 minutes that we expected in the first half, for them to come out chippy.
Diallo with a quality touch, and that is won by Doty. Basafi gets it back into the middle, but here comes Presbyterian. Quality touch. Now a slide tackle in the box, nothing called as Momo and the Camels allowed to play.
Yeah, it takes a lot of gumption inside that 18-yard box to go to ground in a semifinal match.
Tursis had a clean shot, but could not get it loose, and now sent away by the Camels.
And on first look, I would say that's probably a good slide tackle, but of course we'll get to take a look at it at the next available opportunity.
Back comes Salamatu. The movement here for Presbyterian, much better off to Ziegler. Ziegler sends it in, misses his target, and it's sent out wide to Matt Locke. Locke on the counter to Elbastu. Elbastu, a long ball, trying to find Jaquel. He is onside. Jaquel, the Big South's leading scorer, is tripped up. No whistle, and play continues. Down is Jaquel. Back comes Ziegler.
Again, that one a little less clear, I think, than the slide tackle in the box.
Play continues for the moment.
And I don't think Presbyterian are going to have much sympathy.
And now the whistle is blown. checking on the injured Thibaut Jaquel. And if you're Campbell, have to be cautious in this moment with your leading scorer, Thibaut Jaquel, down, testing that ankle. Trying to put weight on it right now with that left foot in question.
Let's take a look at it here. And he cuts that ball off, and actually it goes off of his own left ankle. The defender gets no touch. I believe it's Edo Martin there. The touch is completely away from the ball, and I do believe that should have been a foul.
So Jaquel slowly gets back into position. He has the lone goal tonight, 16 on the season. And Jaquel would be hard-pressed to be checked out of this match unless he is in some serious pain. So we've seen on one end of the pitch, Campbell wanting a foul. But how about the look here for Presbyterian? The slide tackle clean and won by Bisafi Doti. Otherwise, that's a critical chance for Tursis.
Yeah, that's a really tight one there. It's tighter than I thought it was. And she'll get another crunching tackle in midfield.
Ooh, and Elbastu is down. That ball goes out.
Yeah, it's beginning to get a bit out of hand here. We're going to stop the clock again, but I think something has to be done. That's a heavy challenge coming in. Sancho going, just swinging for contact. He doesn't care if it's the ball or the leg, just trying to get something. And I think the referee's going to have to take either a moment to speak with the captains or start issuing some cautionary yellows to get control of this match again.
Sergio Pinto, they're exchanging the hand to try to help out Elbastu. These teams have met for 3 straight years in the playoffs, and you're starting to feel a little bit of that tension come to a tipping point here with 30 minutes to play. On a cold and steamy night in Buies Creek, North Carolina, the chance to go to a Big South championship sometimes brings out the most competitive juices here in the second half.
Yeah, this is much more emblematic of what a Campbell Presbyterian playoff game is like. The first half, very unrealistic to what it's normally like. This one, right on target.
Jaquel back with possession as Campbell swings it around via Bedico. Doty finds his target in Momo. Presbyterian sinking in, 10 men back defensively in front of the keeper, Valentin Klebe. Matt Locke trying to turn for goal instead. A back heel touch is a bit off target, and Ian Rees right there with that central midfielder to win possession.
What's so interesting about this match is how often these two teams are interchanging roles. Campbell's dominating, Presbyterian's dominating. It's back and forth.
And yet a 1-0 scorecard. That's been the difference. You see Momo get back up to his feet, the all-conference, or Moses Mensah, I should say, the all-conference freshman. Elbastu, a critical sub late in the first half. In the final 10 minutes, really has changed the flow of this match, along with Bedico getting the start tonight. And a Campbell throw. So far, just 6 combined shots on target. 4 for Campbell, maybe a 5th here. Jaquel going up for the header, and he's beaten. That's Devalle winning the header, and it lays down to Mensah.
Absolutely crucial intervention inside that 18-yard box.
A bit upset on that call is Ricardo Tursis, the sophomore. And another Campbell throw on the far side. Trying for a second goal. Might be enough to put this game out of reach given how the style of play has unfolded. A long throw is won by Presbyterian. Edo Martin knocks it down. And here come the Blue Hose with Pinto. Given right back to Bedico and the Camels. Now a long ball for Aganu. Turns his shoulder. Plays it off the foot of Ziegler. And Dustin Fonder, that orange jacket, has been so clinical up and down the pitch, trying to inspire his club and make some in-game substitutions.
Yeah, it'll be a Ganu off for Jalen James, and that's just a completely different matchup. It's so much more speed, as you can see Dustin Fonder there in the shot.
Here's a cross in, poked away by the keeper, and Klebe, a crucial touch to avoid a second chance. But to your point with Jalen James, How does he impact this match checking in?
Yeah, he's pace and footwork, whereas Aganu is power and hold-up play. So they offer totally different options, and probably for Campbell at this point, giving up more possession, James is the guy you want to go to.
Rees, an excellent slide tackle to slow down Salamatu. And Presbyterian trying to hold on to possession, their first extended play of the ball in this half. Here's a critical pass forward to Diallo. He is onside, and Diallo lays it off to Pinto. Shooting for goal. And a goal kick. It went out of play before it was touched by Lechuga.
Yeah, and that's a tight one. It looked to me as though he got a fingertip off of it before he pushed it onto the bar. And it's a cheeky effort there, and I do think it does hit the bar. I think it's the hand going up that they're trying to call about. There was never really an attempt there to push it over. But
yeah, Lechuga inside the goal touched it, but it already hit the post. So a shot off the crossbar, and now Lechuga, the junior, second team all-conference, sends it away. Matt Locke, so soft on the foot as he glides it across. Now sprinting into your screen is Frank Momo. Momo trying to find Elbastu. Instead, it's back to Salamatu.
And you can see Bedico instantly goes in to fill the space. He knows his player's upfield, and he goes in and does the defensive work to slow down that attack.
A long ball for Jaquel. He has the lone goal tonight, and Jaquel called fighting for possession. And now a delay of game warning on Jaquel. And a little bit of late pushing and shoving there by Pinto. Boy, the physicality of this match is picked up as we hit the final 26 minutes.
Yeah, both sides are going to have to be careful because the last thing you want to do is let the other side in by committing a silly foul. We saw in the Chapel Hill game, Jaquel gets sent off for hands to the face. It can be the smallest of things. Just one hand on someone's neck and you can be off. So you really got to manage your emotions here to give your side the best chance of winning.
Adrian Ito Martin getting a quick word from our lead referee before play resumes. Last year's final, a 1-0 decider in overtime via Gideon Betts, the game winner. This match, much the same, but it's Jaquel putting Campbell in front back in the 41st minute. James trying to turn, and the throw's awarded to Campbell. And now a chance to settle things down. Frank Momo to throw as we have arrived at our final 26 minutes. Bedico on the long throw, finds his captain. Gideon Betts, who did not qualify for the tournament to start his career as a freshman, has been a huge part of this resurgent run.
We talked about Presbyterian turning things around. Campbell really have done the same thing.
And it starts with the senior in Betts. Boy, flying in, and no foul for Bedico. Gets away with some contact and play resumes.
Yeah, we're riding a fine line still between this match getting completely out of control, but I would say so far the referee has handled it well enough.
Elbastu draws contact, and there's a foul. The clock is now stopped. Oh, and Elbastu gets the yellow card.
Yeah, I don't see how that's possible there. I mean, he's got back to the player that's coming in. We'll take another look at it for sure, but to me...
I felt like Sancho might have been the one to receive the warning. Instead, it's Elbastu, and here it comes.
Yeah, it's completely accidental. I don't think he even knows the player's coming in over his shoulder. He might have got a look. It's because of the studs. That's the reason the yellow card comes out, because he gets the foot into the ankle. At this stage in the game, maybe that's justified, but that's definitely a borderline call. But you figured the yellow card started to have to come out at some point.
And the Campbell contingent, they're fired up right now, knowing how crucial these final 25 minutes can be. If there is one consolation for Campbell, this being a semifinal, yellow card accumulation will not play a factor tonight. You get to the final, and from there, it's a clean sheet. Bedico winning the high header, sends it out to Elbastu. And now Jaquel playing it at his knees. A chip forward, searching for Jalen James. The keeper, Klebe, forced to punch it out. And now Elbastu goes for goal. Not enough on it as it's centered in by DeValle, and he'll send it out.
That's always going to be so difficult to finish. And, of course, you can never tell a player not to shoot from there, but I probably would have told him just hold on to it and try and get a better angle.
Ian Rees goes down, and now a free kick for Campbell. A chance here to possibly send it in towards the box. As Matt Locke, the leader in assists for Campbell, eyes this shot in. Gideon Betts creeps his way forward. And what a moment here for Locke, the all-conference sophomore. Looking to extend this 1-0 lead. Locke serves it in. Into the box for Rees. Chip to the keeper. And Klebe all over it.
That's the thing about set pieces, is absolutely anything can come from them. There hasn't really been a good scoring chance in quite a while, and you very well could have had the ceiling goal right there falling in for Rees.
Presbyterian has gone to overtime in 5 of their last 6 matches. They need a goal first and foremost, but holding firm on the defensive end here in the second half. A long ball for Momo. The Campbell contingent can taste it, trying to get to a 9th Big South Conference final, riding their best season in over a decade. James turns and draws the foul. That's on Ricardo Hernandez, who's disgusted.
Really smart play from James, just backing up towards the end line. He knows he's going to get something. Either way, he's going to get space to turn, or he's going to get fouled one way or the other as we take a look. And it's just smart, holding it up, physical play. You know you can take a turn to the outside. You take whatever contact you can get.
Well, Ziegler and Hernandez were right there. There was some Disney Plus acting going on as well, but nonetheless, a chance now for James. He puts it in. Doubling the lead, Jalen James off the bench in the second half, and a crucial second strike.
How fitting that James would win the free kick and then put it away. It all starts with him, and it's the knockdown there from Elbostu. Big time off the bench, no mistake, side netting finish from the Grand Prairie, Texas native.
Elbostu with an assist. Iganu with an assist. It's been the bench for the deepest team in the Big South. And tonight, Jalen James doubles this lead.
And I'm so happy for a player like him because, you know, he does a lot for this team, but he doesn't get on the score sheet that often. Just his second goal of this season, even though he does so much for the side otherwise.
Here in the 68th minute, Jalen James steps up when his squad needs him most. Just his second goal of the season. And as you mentioned, Zach, Elbostu, such a perfect layoff for his striker.
Yeah, he's a big man in the number 10 position, and these set pieces provide him to really show what he can do outside of the playmaking, and he does it there.
This is a best case, worst case scenario if you're Campbell and Presbyterian. The offensive-minded Campbells continue to push out to Jaquel, and Klebe forced to send it into the sky and out of play. Now chasing 2 goals, the Blue Hose, who have been so defensive-minded tonight, must switch their focus and also slow down a Campbell team that has been potent in this second half.
I could see Dustin Fonder there on the sidelines giving perhaps some final instructions to Mercer Miko, who I believe will be coming on pretty soon.
That's headed out for a throw. Presbyterian had to chase 1 goal in the quarterfinal round to equalize and then win 2-1 over Winthrop, but this task has now been doubled and even more difficult as Elbostu exits off the assist. And Mercer Miko, the speedster, enters, the midfielder for Campbell. There's a foul on a push. Hernandez got underneath Jaquel, and this becomes a critical scoring area for Campbell on this free kick.
Well, we talked about set pieces for Presbyterian and how clinical they were. Well, now it's Campbell on the other side showing what they can do from these areas. It's very similar to the one that we saw Campbell score off just a few moments ago.
Shadoroff setting the line for this Presbyterian defense with Salamatu and Pinto. Let's see what Matt Locke can drop on this free kick. The team's leader in assists. Locke lays it short. Jaquel running towards the corner of the box and plays it back to Locke. Here's a chip in. That header was won by Presbyterian, and Devalle with a clean touch. Back come the Blue Hose, trying to counter with Tursis. Tursis at the midline. Plays it near side to Salamatu.
And once again, who's in there? It's Badico doing all the defending.
Pinto now with space. Sends it across. The defenseman coming up, Devalle. Here's a cross in. One and knocked out by Momo. Devalle again swinging it in. Momo searching for Ziegler. And a Presbyterian throw. 20 minutes to play with the winner on to the Big South Championship match. That results in another PC throw. Momo wins possession. He did not get a touch. That's a Presbyterian throw once again. And if you're Coach Jonathan Potter in his 4th season, time is ticking for the Blue Hose in this second half. Locke running in the pace of play. So fast on the ball, the second team all-conference member gets tripped from behind, and a clear foul in open space. That's a card, a yellow issued to Sergio Pinto.
Yeah, and the noise you're hearing is half cheering, half booing, because a lot of the players on the far side, fans rather, thought it was a straight red. Anytime you go in from behind in a challenge, as we'll get to see for sure now, you always risk getting sent off. There's definitely a play on the ball. He's looking at it, but that's borderline. You're saying you could definitely see a red given there. From a neutral's perspective, you're probably glad he stays on.
Got the left foot of Locke because there was an attempt to play the ball, like you mentioned, so just a yellow card. Betts and Elbostew with yellows, and now Pinto with a yellow tonight. A second half goal by Jalen James in the 68th minute has doubled this lead for the top seed in Campbell. Off to their best start since 2008. Looking to find Rees, and he shoots him long. A corner kick is given, and a chance to add to the lead as we approach the final 20 minutes.
They haven't had a lot of corner kicks in this match, Campbell. They've had other set pieces, but they'll get to bring in Morales now for the first time.
Adrian Morales to check in, the attacker. Big South all-freshman team member enters to send this ball in. And for Presbyterian, Harry Abel, number 7, checks back in blue. Here's Morales with the headband on a 30-degree night. Let's see what type of ball he can play in. Morales to the near post, headed away by Hernandez. One back, now sent in. Clinical header out. Edu Martin. Campbell, though, with James sprinting after it. Ziegler's shielding him off, and Lucas Ziegler sends it up the line. Story of the night, though, the ball goes directly back to Campbell with Martinez. A touch forward for James, and a difficult play. That ball goes out with Edo Martin trying to save it.
The interesting thing about Martinez, though, is he did not play in the Presbyterian game. This is the first time ever that this Blue Hose side is getting to see him in action, so maybe he can come up with something, provide an option that they haven't been able to see or deal with.
4 goals and an assist for Martinez, number 10 in white this year. Momo, an easy play for the redshirt sophomore keeper, Valentin Klebe.
And the exact opposite. Martinez was on this team last year. He's seen Presbyterian now for the 4th time, so he knows how they work, what players can do what, and he's going to be experienced in knowing where those defensive weaknesses are.
Presbyterian chasing 2 goals, trying to advance to their 3rd straight final here in Buies Creek, North Carolina. Little change of possession back and forth, and it's touched forward to Jaquel. Momo able to shoot it out to his leading scorer. Mercer Miko in transition. Here comes Martinez. Morales slowing it down. Rees with space. Rees fires for goal. And the lead's been extended. A 3-0 tally as the senior puts the exclamation point on this Big South semifinal.
And how fitting as well for Rees. He came up with the game-winning goal in that regular season match to get High Point. He does so much for this side as we get to take a look. I mean, he's so important to this Campbell side. You really could say he is Mr. Campbell on this side, and to be able to come up with a goal that could very well seal it, it means a lot to him and a lot to this team.
Ian Rees can taste a Big South championship match. The first team all-conference selection, his 4th goal of the season, and able to finish inside the box.
Everything about that goal is wonderful. The chest control to bring it down, the finish on the left, everything about it executed to perfection. And Campbell, in flashy style, able to get their 3rd.
2 goals in the last 5 minutes. Jalen James and Ian Rees, all set up by Adrian Morales coming off the bench. And now a dispossession by Jaquel. Already a goal tonight for Tebow. Wanting more, and Hernandez knocks it loose. Back comes Johansson. Simon Johansson, off a tough touch, lays it back to Tursis. Dispossessed by Mercer-Miko. Alo Mercer-Miko. And now Campbell trying to add on as we approach the final 17 minutes. Here's a long ball. Onside, a chance on target, saved by Lechuga, denying Zachariah Diallo.
And that's what we were talking about earlier. He doesn't get called to do anything all match. He's just sat there and watched. And then with his just cold muscles, has to come up with a game-saving play like that that very well could have upstarted this Presbyterian offense.
Lechuga pitched shutouts all throughout the Big South tournament last season in Campbell's championship run. And here in 2019, maybe his biggest save of the tournament. Meanwhile, in the second semifinal, High Point has just jumped in front. A 3-2 difference. The winner of this match. Certainly a chance to meet the High Point Panthers, the number 2 seed, in the championship final on Sunday.
For me in this game, the turning point isn't the goals. It's the halftime decision by Presbyterian to come out and play toe-to-toe with Campbell. That was a big risk and one they thought was going to pay off, but clearly didn't.
Jaquel, already a goal tonight, trying to find Rees. No whistle and play continues. A counterattack by Pinto.
You have to wonder if they'd have held to their guns and stuck to that defensive play, what would have happened?
And an offside flag is drawn on Diallo. He has been aggressive as that top number 10 striker, but not many chances on target for Zachariah Diallo.
You have to say if they'd have held to it, stuck to that defensive game, it could still be 1-0 right now. With 15 minutes left, anything could happen on a set piece. But that judgment to go toe-to-toe, flip of a coin doesn't work out.
Jalen James, a huge goal in the 68th minute, followed up by Ian Rees on the assist by Morales. Mercer-Miko dispossessed, great touch by DeValle. Hunter in those neon cleats. Finds Abel. And Abel draws a throw. Now a substitution for Presbyterian. This is Ryan Standridge, the midfielder out of Greenville, South Carolina, coming in. And he'll replace Ricardo Tursis, the forward. Standridge played 25 minutes in the quarterfinal round, coming in for the final 15 here tonight. Doty trying to win it. Instead, it stays with Pinto. Pinto weaving through. Lays it off for Betts and dispossessed. Gideon Betts has Rees in front. Numbers for Campbell. James to his right. Jalen James towards the box. Goes back to his left foot and knocked away. Great possession there by Sancho. Mercer-Miko weaving through this Presbyterian defense, committing so many numbers back to guard against a 4th goal. Laid off to Lechuga in the final 14 minutes. A crucial save just 2 minutes prior, denying Diallo. Ian Rees again with a chance. Lays it off for Morales. Morales back to Rees, trying to find Jaquel, and a pretty one-touch, a bit oversighted. Campbell maintaining possession in this second half, trying to clinch a second straight berth in the championship final. This time as the top seed, the undefeated regular season champs.
We talked about them being a hybrid team earlier. They were on the front foot, then they went as the counter-attacking team, and now they've switched it back to not just possession, but ultra high-pace, quick passing possession, which 3 different teams, most teams would struggle to do one of those, and they've executed all 3 of them perfectly in this match.
Tying his laces end over end, as Campbell can milk some clock here. Nursing a 3-goal lead. Started with Jaquel back in the 41st minute. Jalen James. And now Ian Rees have added on since, as a passing display is taking place here on ESPN+. Momo sends it back to his keeper. who now finds Gideon Betts. Doty up to Jaquel. A chip forward for James. Jalen James just outside the box to the near side. How about the charge in? Momo, a ball loose. Trying to find Jaquel was Morales that time, and nothing coming of it.
I mean, that's surgical precision from Campbell to be able to get the ball through this defense that's held on for so long to get a chance on the doorstep.
Morales plays it back to Mercer Miko. Now on the near side, he finds Frank Momo. Momo's pass deflected by Ziegler. Final 12 minutes. Sent out wide. Here's a cross in. Searching for Jaquel. And a bit strong on the pass there by Moses Mensah. Redshirt sophomore Valentin Cleve, busy in the first half, has now conceded 2 goals here in the second. Not much can be done for the redshirt sophomore given the pressure applied in the second half.
And now for Campbell, it's about keeping your players fit. Don't risk too much. Don't try and do too much as a player, but also keeping everyone on the pitch, because the last thing you want to do is have someone suspended for the next game, especially somebody like Gideon Betts.
Betts and Elvis each with yellow cards for Campbell. Something to keep an eye on as we tick closer to the final 11 minutes. Jalen James weaving back to the middle of the field. Lays it off for Rees. Zigs it in for Jaquel, and it's taken away by Hernandez. Ooh, a long ball. Now Lechuga forced to charge on Diallo, and he wins it. A low-line drive that evades the pressure of Diallo.
Smart decision to come off of his line, and he was about a half-second late doing it, but he gets there just in time.
A long ball. A slide tackle is won and knocked out. That is a corner kick with Frank Momo chasing after it.
This is just their first of the half for Presbyterian. This is an area of the game they haven't been able to influence enough, is these corner kicks specifically, and they could very well set up an interesting final 10 minutes with a goal here.
Here's a long ball played in and headed out. What a goal-saving effort by George Bedico, preventing a shot on target. And now Presbyterian with a free kick coming up.
He's in here to make plays like that, George Bedico, to put his body on the line regardless of what it calls for and just come up with game-saving plays as he has done throughout this match.
What a direct look for Sergio Pinto. And now the wall is formed right in front of that 6-yard box. Tough look here for Lechuga, staring down Sergio Pinto, second-team all-conference striker. Presbyterian searches for their first. Off the post, and it's kept in the box. A second quality look for Presbyterian. Now Devalle off the body of Mensah. Play continues. Devalle. And that ball goes out for a goal kick. What a quality look by Sergio Pinto just off that far post.
Yeah, he got that set piece 99% right. I mean, you still leave Lechuga on his spot, absolutely rooted to his line, and it's just a beautifully curved ball. The hard part is getting the power and the curl and the placement all right, and it's everything but the placement on that one.
A substitution for Campbell as Dylan Sadler replaces Gideon Betts, and this is certainly a cause for celebration for Gideon. He will be able to participate in the championship final. 1 yellow card tonight for Betts, and his defense so critical in the second half to slow down Presbyterian.
Yeah, it's a difficult moment and something he's not used to coming off. You can kind of see him looking at coach, putting his hands up. But on a yellow, you don't even want to risk it. You're bringing in a guy like Dylan Sadler, who's showed that he can really step up to the plate and play a center back's role. He didn't come to this university to do that, but he's adapted into it and is doing it very well.
Sadler was named Defensive Player of the Week once in the Big South this year. Now a long ball searching for Aganu, and that's poked out by Klebe. In fact, Gideon Betts has played all but 25 minutes this year. He has been a workhorse for Campbell. Now a long ball searching for Pinto. He slides and able to keep it in play. What an effort by Sergio Pinto as we hit the closing 8 minutes in what is destined to be another trip for Campbell to the Big South Championship Final, trying to defend their postseason title. It was a slow first half, but Jaquel opened it up with a 41st minute goal. And now we're starting to see what Campbell can do on the offensive end. A 3-0 lead.
Yeah, and that's something they didn't have the freedom to do in the first half, is to play like they really would, passing around first time, being more open, being more creative. They just didn't have the ability to do it when the game was so restricted, and we've seen the things that they can do on the ball, which are so amazing.
Hernandez and Presbyterian trying to continue what has been an impressive 4-year run from not winning a single game to now being to 2 Big South championship matches, and here 2 more semifinal berths. Time might be ticking out, though, for Coach Jonathan Potter's club. Morales lays it off for Rees. And now Basafi Doty, so smart without his captain Gideon Betts on defense. Trying to milk the clock, under 7 minutes to play. With a home berth in the Big South Championship on the line here for the #1 seed in Campbell. Presbyterian, a quick substitution as they bring on Christopher Amon, the redshirt sophomore, and he'll replace Simon Johansson, the freshman. Morales still pressuring the ball. And it's won by Doty. And as Mercer Miko is pushed down, does that give us a sense of how Campbell's been able to fight off every punch from Presbyterian and really dominate this match?
Yeah, it's been persistence from them as well. As much as Presbyterian came into the game with a plan, as you'll get to see here, brought down from behind Mercer Miko, Campbell came in a game plan as well. They stuck to it in the first half. They saw what worked. When the game opened up, they knew that was their moment to take advantage, and they scored goals. It's exactly what they wanted to do, and they've executed to perfection.
This will result in a Campbell throw. As the scores present themselves right now, will be the 1 and 2 seeds in the final, Campbell and High Point. A rematch of what was the regular season finale for Campbell, a 2-1 finish, and arguably the 2 best teams, both in terms of national perspective and in this league. A chance to battle on Sunday for the championship.
Yeah, we got that match in the semifinals last year. To get able to see it at Campbell's place in the final is going to be excellent.
Mercer Miko working into the corner now, trying to build on a 3-0 lead. Oh, and Mercer Miko swung a leg, now throws an arm out at Ziegler. And a yellow card for Alamo Mercer Miko. The ref will stop the clock as well with 5:05 to go.
It's the smart thing to do here as the referees, just to speak with one another so you can come to a conclusion here that's the correct decision. Mercer Miko just given a yellow, and they're also going to give Ziegler, I believe, one as well, just a kick out of legs. And that's what we talked about. I mean, he very well could have been off either one of those players for that action. So it's just about keeping your head cool. At this point for Campbell, there's no reason to involve yourself on any antics. You've got the game in the bag. Don't ruin this for yourself and force yourself to be celebrating on the bench.
We'll show you the contact here. There's an initial bump by Ziegler. Mercer Miko then swings his leg. A little bit of back and forth between the two. Jalen James so wise to try to calm down his striker.
Yeah, there's just no need for the leg swing there. He doesn't touch him, but it's still the intention there. He was obviously going for the kick out.
So now the clock will start on play. Final 5 minutes here in the Big South semifinal. 2 goals in this second half have put Campbell in prime position to move on to the championship final. A long ball played out by Abel and right back into Campbell's feet. You see Momo there playing to his crowd. And Moses Mensah now sends it back. Mensah. Here's Doty tripped up. And Basafi Doty draws a foul. That's on Sergio Pinto trying to make something happen. My apologies, Adrian Ito Martin. Last thing you'd hate to see here in the final 4 minutes is any injuries.
Yeah, smart play there by Doty to get back up to his feet, because at this point the referee will bring the game to a halt. Get back up, take a few seconds off the clock, but there's no need to bring the entire clock to a stop.
Final 4 minutes. Mensah punches it forward, and on deflection back to Aganu. Aganu serves it up for James, and that's deflected. Presbyterian holding firm with its defensive shell. Diallo and Doty some contact, and play continues. In what seems much closer than a 3-0 decision, especially given the second half nature of some of these goals, sparked by Morales with an assist tonight. Mercer Miko dancing around as he turns it over, and that may be the total story of this game. It's Jaquel, the nation's top third leading scorer, giving Campbell a spark, and that's all they needed tonight.
Yeah, if you look at the two games these two teams have played, Campbell's one is most likely going to win both, and they're going to outscore 9-2. And you would say there's no contest there, but if you look at the actual games, much different than that. It's been a joy to watch, and we certainly hope that, you know, the rest of the tournament will continue to produce.
One more sub for Campbell here in the final 3 minutes as Caleb Martinez, the midfielder, enters for Campbell. He'll replace Alaba Mercer Miko, who walks the long jaunted turn around the pitch. And he knows his team is 3 minutes away from booking a ticket to the championship.
He's going to walk off with a smile because he's only got a yellow, and he's walking off due to a substitution, not a sending off. So happy to keep him on the field, obviously, from a Campbell perspective.
James plays it back to Rees. And what has been a game dominated of possession by Campbell. 3 or 4 critical chances for Presbyterian late in this second half, but nothing to show for it, as Lechuga's been solid with 4 saves tonight. Rees falling to the floor, nothing called. 2.5 minutes to play. Teams that met in the championship last year, a 1-0 decision. The growth of this Campbell program certainly on full display. And the chippy nature of Presbyterian continues to be ample, especially here tonight.
And there's some more players, as you mentioned, that chippy attitude getting in. Campbell can't get drawn in. They can't let, like we said earlier, just can't go into the antics.
How about Doty pulling back Momo to calm down his fellow defenseman? The freshman guiding the sophomore.
And if there was one last jab Presbyterian could get in, it would be a sending off.
Final 2 minutes here at Eakes Athletics Complex. This is Morales playing the foot of Ito Martin. Ziegler trying to win possession, and time might be running out for Presbyterian, chasing 3 goals here on the road. And this certainly might do it.
And you have to give credit to Presbyterian. They came here to play. They played towards more of their strengths in this match than the first half, but came out and gave it a fair fight. Came out to say, we're not just going to sit back, we're going to go for it. And it didn't work out for them in that instance, but you certainly can't say that they just bunkered in and were just looking for a draw.
Now the final minute here in this Big South semifinal.
1 minute remaining in the second half.
Campbell trying to return to the championship to defend their crown. It'll be here at home on Sunday against the High Point Panthers. The number 2 seed is the top 2 clubs most likely set to meet.
That's going to be a game that both of these sides will relish. Campbell want to finish off and stake their claim at the top of the table for sure. And then High Point, of course, will be wanting to get revenge off of last year and this last game they played as well, winning at home on senior night and winning the regular season championship on their own field.
What has been a perfect Big South campaign for Campbell. 8-0. Outscoring opponents 40-3 here at home. A last effort, however, for Pinto. Back in the box, Lechuga lets it roll out, and that will certainly put the finishing touches on what has been a dominant run in the regular season, and now a postseason shutout. As Campbell, for the 2nd straight year and the 9th time in program history, on to the Big South Championship final as they defeat the scrappy Presbyterian Blue Hose 3-0 here at home.
It's a perfect example of what this Campbell team can do. They can do it all. They can play different ways. They can make it difficult for you regardless of how you set up. And we get to take a look at the Ford Precision play here. It's such a big win for Campbell, and they well deserved to go back in.
In the second half, what a crucial goal here by Jalen James, our Ford Precision play of the match. It was a 1-0 difference, and this is all Elbastu setting up his striker in James.
Yeah, this really was the point where you thought Campbell were going to go on and finish it off. All starts off with Elbastu, and there it is, the side net finish that really put this game away.
Jalen James made it 2-0, a 3-0 final here tonight. So the top seed in Campbell staying home for the Big South Championship final, celebrating with their crowd tonight. High Point a winner 3-2, and Campbell a 3-0 dominant finish. As there's your championship final Sunday at 2 o'clock. We'll have it here on ESPN+. What excites you about this matchup, pitting the two best teams all season long?
Well, that game is not going to be this game. High Point is going to be going toe-to-toe from the first whistle. They've got revenge to get. They've been beaten by this Campbell team this season when they were on their best season they've had in a long time. Last year, they've got a point to prove. They want to be the best Big South team. They want to be playing in the NCAA tournament. That's where both of these teams deserve to be, but it's likely only one will get there.
Alongside my partner, Zach Burley, Evan Budrovich, thanking you for joining us tonight. Your final score, Campbell 3, Presbyterian 0. Thibaut Jaquel gets it started with the first goal, and then Jalen James and Ian Rees close it off. You can watch this game on the ESPN archives, but for tonight, we're signing off. Campbell on to the championship final here in the Big South Conference.